Aer's most popular bag, the CPP Pro 2, just came out in a 20-liter size with a few changes to it, 3 of which that I'm very happy with. 1 I'm kind of neutral, and 1 change that didn't happen that I secretly wish would have happened. I'll get into all of that in a second. Since I've already done a detailed review of the CPP Pro 2, I'm going to link that below. On this video, I'm really going to focus on what's changed and, more importantly, just share my perspective on the different sizes, why I think 20 liters is going to be that ideal EDC sweet spot for most people, depending on your use cases, and in what scenarios are you better off going for the standard CPP Pro 2, the 24 liter, or do you even need 20 liters? There's some advantages of the CPP 2 over the Pro that for me still makes it kind of the ultimate EDC, especially when I'm not carrying a ton of stuff. So let's get into it. Pretty recently, Aer came out with the CPP Pro 2 in the Eco Pack fabric. With it, they introduced 2 little design refinements that they also included on their Travel Pack 4 / the small version of it, or the CPP Pro 2 Max. I'm just like waiting to see the comment section light up. And those 2 changes were also brought to the CPP Pro 2 in 20 liters. Those are, 1, the fact that previously you had the key leash stitched on to the front stash pocket, and given the fact that it's just like a bigger pocket, I think for a lot of people, myself included, not the most ideal place to have your keys. Now it's detachable, so you have flexibility in where you put it, but you can also anchor it here, which I think is a great spot in the admin panel for it. And then the second thing is just that they introduced a little pen sleeve, which I'm a big fan of. Please bring back pen sleeves, as digital of a society that we're becoming. So you get that pen sleeve as well as the detachable key leash, right? That you can attach here. But then the other change that I'm also a fan of is that they, instead of having a second water bottle, which candidly, I mean, this comes down to personal preference, but for a 1-bag travel backpack like the Travel Pack 4, I actually prefer the dual water bottle holders, not to carry 2 water bottles, but simply to have flexibility to put bulkier things on the outside, like layers, things where you don't need them super secure. But for an EDC backpack, it is so rare that I am using both water bottle holders. Instead, they included this little side stash pocket, kind of like what you had in the Travel Pack 3. And then this is where they include the key leash. But again, you have flexibility in a number of places where you could include it. To me, the other thing that's nice about having this side stash pocket is that Aer traditionally is very much a top-down access backpack. So the vast majority of getting into this bag is more comfortable doing it when the bag is off of your back. But I think including some hybrid functionality there where you have things where you want to be able to grab it when you're wearing the backpack, that's why I think this is a nice value add, right? It's not too thick, but a great place for a mobile battery bank. Maybe you want to throw your wallet in there. The world's your oyster. Now, the one change that I'm a little bit more neutral on is just pretty subtle, but the grab handle, before it was just like foam padded throughout. And so the loop itself just kind of sticks out, makes it pretty easy to like put your hands in there. And with the CPP Pro 2 in the 20 liter, the foam padding goes up to here, but then there is no foam padding here. Doesn't pop out as much. It's a little bit more flush and it flops down. I mean, I think all in all, I still prefer this one, but I mean, it's not really gonna move the needle much for me in either direction. Now, when I got the news that they were gonna do a 20 liter version of the CPP Pro 2, my eyes just lit up because I was optimistically hoping for one thing to happen, which would be the merging of 2 bags to create the ultimate Aer bag, which would be taking what I love about the CPP 2, right? And merging it with the CPP Pro 2. And that is having a deeper admin panel, right? It's longer, you get a little bit more organization, but more importantly, having that additional vertical volume makes it for a great place for you to put bulkier things that with their current admin panel, you're a bit limited in the things that you can throw in here. And the reason why I say that also is I recently did a video talking about my 5 favorite backpacks and talking about why the CPP 2 made it, the CPP Pro 2 did not make it, which I know, just watch the video so you can have some additional context. I still absolutely love the City Pack Pro 2. And this is a fantastic backpack, especially when I need something more compact. I'm not carrying a bunch of stuff. This is like my go-to, right? When I initially reviewed it about a year ago, I talk about how for most of my use cases, I feel like the City Pack Pro 2, I'm only using maybe like 30 to 40% of the space. So having all of that wasted space, I find myself grabbing this guy significantly more. And part of it is because of the admin panel and also because of the space. But candidly, there are definitely times this is a slimmer backpack where I'm like, oof, somewhere in between this and the City Pack Pro 2, aka exactly 20 liters, would be like the ultimate sweet spot for me. And so they did that from a volume standpoint, but they kept the admin panel of the City Pack Pro 2. But yeah, I mean, this guy in 20 liters, essentially, with a dedicated laptop compartment would be my perfect airbag. And having this side stash pocket on one side and then their water bottle pocket from the Travel Pack 4 on the other, and then that's game over for me. But anyways, let's get into the sizes and the sizes that I would recommend given your use cases and also like your body frame, right? Because a lot of it has to do with how proportionate it looks while you're wearing it, if that's something that you value, which I do. I think if you like the things that I talked about, the City Pack 2, right? Mainly the difference in the admin panel, which by the way also includes a sleeve behind here, which you have in the Travel Pack 4. And you had in the 3, but only that it's longer, kind of like it was on the 3. Secondly is just the main compartment zipper of the City Pack 2. You don't get a dedicated laptop compartment. I know for a lot of people that's a must-have, but getting into this main compartment zipper is God's gift to Earth. Getting into this main compartment zipper is see, that happens. Yes, you can swap out the zipper pulls to have more visibility, but because the front admin panel and the main compartment zippers are like connected essentially, yeah, it's a fairly stiff zipper for sure. So if you value very frictionless access into every part of your bag, City Pack 2 wins in that department. And then another thing is this top quick access pocket is significantly deeper on the City Pack 2 than it is on the Pro. For me, I think for most people, they're gonna like that additional space. I don't mind it being shallower just based on what I typically put in here. And it's just sunglasses and AirPods. But with that being said, I can see how like if you're going through security, you're taking your phone out, you wanna put it in here, your phone will fit a lot more comfortably in there than it would in this guy. Or I guess now you can put it here, but let me see how comfortably a phone fits. Yeah, fits really easily. So I guess you have that taken care of. So keeping those design functional differences in mind, I think if you're a very petite person, that's one reason to go with the City Pack 2, even though I think this size will also suit people who have a bit of a smaller frame. Secondly is like, what are you gonna carry in here? I think this is the ultimate like tech essentials plus a jacket, right? If you're gonna be using it a decent bit as a like everyday carry backpack, right? But you're also going to take it to the gym, or you live in a place where you're commuting and like when it gets cold out, you want to have like more comfortable amount of space to put layers, then I would definitely steer you in this direction. I think this just makes for a really nice tech essentials plus having space for layers when you're mainly carrying for yourself and you for sure know that you're not going to be using this for one bag travel, even for shorter trips. You can absolutely get away with it. But I would say this just is a lot more optimal as a personal item backpack that you take with you alongside a roller, duffel, etc. I think when we start thinking about, should I get this or should I get the standard City Pack Pro 2 and have that extra amount of volume? A few things, right? Is just, what are you typically carrying for everyday carry? But more importantly, what use cases do you want to use it beyond everyday carry? I think if you want to have the flexibility to take it on short, like 1 to 2 night trips here and there, then that alone, you should just get the City Pack Pro 2 standard. I think if you have a larger frame, like I'm 5'8", 140 pounds, and honestly, they both work for me well. With that being said, for my day-to-day carry, I feel like usually I'm not using more than 40 to 50% of this. I hate the feeling of having my bag filled up, but I feel like if I'm rarely going over the 60 to 70% mark, that's where I start leaning here. And that's a big reason why I use the CPP2 so much for everyday carry as well. I think also if you want to use it as a gym/work hybrid and you're taking an extra pair of clothes, pair of shoes, or you're taking a lunchbox, like bulkier things like that, that are a big part of people's daily carry, any of those scenarios, I would steer you in the standard CPP2 over this. You could make it work, but it's just a matter of like, hey, do you want your bag 90% full or maybe like 70% full? To me, just having that peace of mind of still having a little bit of extra space, in conjunction with the fact that this is a bag that there's certain places, specifically the front stash pocket, that just competes for space with the main compartment. And so there's value in the bag not being super full. So like me personally, I use this front stash pocket, right, for my tech pouch, the cap one. And right now the bags are empty, so it's like pretty easy to get in and out of. But once you start packing it out more, then you're fighting with that front stash pocket more. If you carry a tech pouch with you, something with the dimensions kind of like a cap one, also something to keep in mind, comparing this one to this one is, I do really like having that front stash pocket for something like a tech pouch. And in the CPP2, you kind of have to force it. It's not, you can make it happen, but it's not easy. If you're rocking something smaller like an Aer Slim pouch, then it works well. But with this one, it's not the end of the world because you have this deeper front admin panel. If you compare them size-wise, like one of the big things, right, is just this guy is taller. And it looks a little deeper. I have to confirm with the specs. To me, 5'8", 140 pounds, just the proportions of this guy work pretty much perfectly. In that sense, I do find that it's the ultimate sweet spot. The CPP2 doesn't look big on me, but just knowing that for the most part, I don't have it filled up nearly at its capacity. And the fact that between the two, I think the proportions of this one work better for me than this one. For my use cases between the two, I would go with a 20 liter, especially if you're looking to get a non-eco pack version of this backpack where you're not gonna get the nice little add-ons. Like for me, I prefer this side stash pocket over a second water bottle. And then secondly, having that pen sleeve and the detachable key leash, which right now is exclusive to this. I mean, if you love Aer's design language, right, and the build quality, like bang for your buck, they're really hard to beat. It's getting annoying. You could build such a perfect 2-bag quiver with either this guy or this guy for everyday carry, and then pairing it with a travel pack. Whether it's a small, which I think is great for people that are kind of minimal, you're not taking an extra pair of shoes, like that can take you pretty far, or just a 35 liter. Now, yes, of course, the travel pack is very similar to the city line. And so, you know, me personally, I also like to have a little variety in my collection of backpacks, but there's people that it's like, if you like something and you just want it in different sizes, then having one of these two with one of the two travel packs, I mean, should cover the vast majority of most people's use cases. All right, I'm gonna show you for all 3 bags, 2 quick little loadouts. One is gonna be shoes. This is the 20 liter that just came out with a jacket. This is what I mean. If you're gonna like use it as a gym hybrid and you're taking an extra pair of shoes from work, I'd jump into the 24 liter. This is like taking up most of the space, and this is also with laptop and with that in there, tech pouch. So that's loadout 1, and then loadout 2 is more of like a 1-bagging. I'm putting like 3 nights worth of clothing, maybe a little bit more, maybe like 4. So one of the things that you'll notice comparing the 20 to the 24 liter also is the width. So when you put this guy in here on this one, like you're better off just putting it like this, you can actually make it work this way. But as you can see, it's already like putting a bit of strain on the zippers. You could definitely make it work, but it's just not as snug of a fit. I'm the kind of person that if that's the way something fits in my bag and it's going to be a regular part of my loadout, I don't want to like put that strain on the zippers or on the bag. I'd rather just opt for something a little bigger. But in a pinch, if you need to carry a lot of stuff, like you can one bag it with this guy as well. I just personally would not like this feeling of just everything feeling so tight, especially as you're like wanting to add things, right? Like using this compartment for a tech pouch, that gets pretty tight. Okay, so City Pack 2, like I said, this is like tech essentials plus like a jacket, and that's mainly it to use. So I'll just throw that in there for now. If you want to throw like a little notepad and then a little bit of tech here. But yeah, with this guy, it's just slimmer. So let me, just so you see, if I were to throw shoes in here, it just doesn't like, it's just a little too slim. I wouldn't, you can make it work, but it's just it's a force fit. So I think as long as you're not putting anything bulky like that, I think jacket, you still have space for plenty of stuff, like thin stuff, but definitely would not be rocking this guy for one bagging it. All right. Cap one goes in the most comfortably in that guy. Laptop, tablet. So yeah, I mean, really internally, like the difference between the 20 and the 24, it's not massive, but in the other one, it was like pretty much taking up most of the space. Whereas here, I feel like you still have a little bit more space in that sense. And then one bagging setup. And also a little extra width, because on the 20, this would have stretched it out too much. But here you can use it for a short trip, no problem. And then between this guy and the Travel Pack 4 Small, I do think that if you are rocking this one for one bag travel a lot, and also you are using it as a gym hybrid and you're carrying shoes and a bunch of extra clothes and you have a larger frame, honestly, you can totally just rock the 28 liter. This one for me, just the additional height, a little bit more of the width just feels a little too bulky for everyday carrying for my use cases. But I guess since I'm already here, I'll just show you what that looks like in here. That same amount of stuff. Yeah, I mean, this thing just takes it way more comfortably. And you have extra space. So yeah, between these two, it's just like, if your primary use case is one bag travel and then you're going to be using it also for everyday carry here and there, or you have a large frame, I'd probably go with this guy, to be honest, especially if you have a larger frame. But if you're going to do very rare one bag travel, but you want to have the flexibility, then I just think this guy's a little bit too much of a behemoth for that. I would go with that guy there. Final thoughts and TLDR. If you're not going to do any one bag travel with it, then it should be between the City Pack 2 at 16 liters and then this guy at 20 liters, assuming that your daily loadout doesn't require super bulky things like a big lunchbox or really bulky layers when you're commuting, or if you go to the gym, right, and you're bringing a whole set of other clothes and you want like a good gym hybrid. Between these two, I think overall size-wise, this is the perfect sweet spot for me for everyday carry. I wish the CPP2 had the dedicated laptop compartment. Everything stayed the same and it was just 20 liters, and it had the travel pack 4 water bottle on one side and then the side stash pocket on the other. That would be ideal. But as you can see, it's just a matter of what you value the most. Do you want a little bit more space to have that flexibility? I think having a side access pocket, whereas with this one, you don't have anything, is definitely a nice value add. A little harder to get into the main compartment because the zipping experience is not nearly as smooth, and then you're sacrificing the awesome admin panel that this one comes with. If you want to have the flexibility of doing one bag travel, even for shorter trips, or your daily loadout is pretty big, or I think if you are like 6 feet tall or bigger, just because of the height differences, I think once you're at the 6 foot mark, then I feel like the proportions of the CPP2 are going to work better for you. Not to say that this is going to look tiny on you, but just something to keep in mind. But yeah, other than that, best of luck and cheers.